I do agree. You bring up a very good point as far as his takedown defense. I think Gonzaga did get him down at one point, but other times he had a really good sprawl put out on him. And but Gonzaga, like you said, he's not a top class wrestler. And even with Lesnar, I mean, people were wondering about Brock Lesnar's chin and if he even can take a punch. But the reason the fight with Lesnar and Dos Santos would have been so interesting is because we know that Lesnar, just with his size and speed and his double leg, would have tested Dos Santos' takedown defense more than anything he's seen before. And at some point, Dos Santos would probably have been on his back, and so it was going to be interesting to see, who could hurt who first. And, yeah, I agree that Carwin can, if he wants to. I think Carwin can take him down. And it's just a matter of will he come out there kind of looking to test the waters in the stand-up game, because, he's capable of knocking out Dos Santos, too. I just don't think that's his best route.
No, I agree, and that's my only worry in this fight is that Carwin is going to try to test the waters on the feet, because Carwin has never fought a guy who can strike like Dos Santos. If he catches like a straight punch early, the ball could really be rolling against him, and he could really get knocked out. At the same time, he has to know that he can take this guy down. I mean, it's just he has to know.
And the interesting thing I think he mentioned in the one of the pre-fight interviews is that he's kind of slimming down a bit for this fight, which I assume the main thing to do is he wants to improve his cardio, which he needs to. But, maybe if he gets a little bit leaner, a little bit quicker, that's what he's looking to do is just improve his takedown speed. And so if that's what he's focusing on, then I do like him in this fight. And yeah, while I like Dos Santos a lot and he's got really good, accurate hands, I was always kind of, his performance against Roy Nelson was the one that really kind of bugged me about it. Credit to Nelson for his heart. I was just kind of perplexed at how Dos Santos just didn't find a way to put him away. He didn't mix up his game enough. He didn't throw much of any leg kicks. He was just boxing with him and couldn't put him away. And I think that shows a bit of a flaw in his game too.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, the Crow Cop fight was a lot like that too. I mean, people don't remember it that way because Crow Cop eventually bowed out of the fight with an injury. But I mean, that was another fight where he was just throwing punches and not looking for the finish.
Yep. But, hey, part of Dos Santos' reputation, I'm sure, comes from knocking Verdum out cold, and Verdum is now, one of Strikeforce's top contenders.
Yeah, I'm actually going to talk a little bit about that because this is probably why I pick against Dos Santos almost every time. Back when I was working at MMA Rated, Dos Santos was coming in on short notice to face Verdum, and they showed a video of Dos Santos punching pads in the locker room on Dana White's video blog, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, this guy's amazing! Oh my God, this guy's amazing!" And I'm like, "He's hitting pads." Like I've seen video of John Buhl hitting pads, and I thought he was gonna take out Brock Lesnar. And then I wrote this whole column about how it was stupid and people were ridiculous, and then Verdum was out of there in less than 90 seconds. So I've really had a bone to pick with Dos Santos ever since.
Well, and Verdum, I remember coming in, wasn't he really fat and sloppy?
He looked like a tank. He looked like a tank. It was terrible.
He was 15 pounds overweight.
I have no doubt that if they fought 10 times, that Verdum would win 9 times. I'm so sure of it.
Yeah.
I wish that it was Lesnar still, because the amount of money I could win from people with the Lesnar fight. All those people, he can't take a punch. It's like, he won't have to.
Yeah. Well, and I could go on and on about, I'd love to analyze that whole he can't take a punch thing. I think it's a little more complex than that, but we have time limits, so I'll, defer that to another show.
That's right. We got to break this off because we're going to take a little break and we're going to come back with Strikeforce lightweight Jorge Masvidal. He's actually taking on KJ Nunes at the upcoming Strikeforce card. An injury to Gino Carano put him on the main card, so he's going to be getting the Showtime treatment. So check us out after the break with Jorge Masvidal.
Thanks for doing our show. I appreciate it. So I remember we were talking before, and you were mentioning how you wanted to take a little bit of time off after the Billy Evangelista fight just to get over some kind of nagging things from all the training. How do you feel right now physically?
I feel good, man. Luckily, I got injuries, but like everybody, any top fighter is always somewhat hurt, at least slightly injured, but it's nothing crazy, nothing that's gonna hamper my performance dramatically, so I'm ready to go in and kick this guy's butt, man.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as KJ Nunes, what did you think of his fight with Nick Diaz? I mean, both of those guys have pretty good boxing stand-up skills, and you're pretty good on your feet as well. What did you think of his last fight?
I haven't seen that fight. I don't watch tape on my opponents and stuff. My coaches don't tell me what to do. But I know he's solid, and he moves his head, he throws punches from weird angles, but I just don't care what he does, man. I just go in there and I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna punch him in the face, and I'm gonna take his head off.
Yeah, and I know you have your own game plan you like to focus on, but does it kind of give you a little bit of extra, I don't know, does it make you a little more excited knowing you're going in there against a guy with a really good stand-up that's probably going to be willing to stand and trade on the feet with you?
Yeah, it's always exciting, I always like fighting good grapplers too, just because defensively I could wrestle, pretty decent, and I could sub people's shots. So I like fighting either. I just like fighting, man. That's the bottom line is I like fighting,
So yeah, and also another thing we talked about in the last interview we had was, of course, you're focused on just whatever's going to get you toward that Strikeforce title shot. And KJ's had the belt before, and so certainly whoever wins this fight will probably be in the mix. So, does that have you a little more amped up too, or do you just kind of feel, I don't know, the same, since that's just kind of always been your goal is to get a title shot?
I'm definitely more amped up, if I do get the fight, I'll truly be amped up when I got the contract in front of me to fight for the title, But it's just another fight to me, man. I'm just gonna go in and take care of business. If they ask me to do like another 3-4 fights after this, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And if they tell me to fight for the title right after this, man, I'm happy with that too. Obviously I'd rather do that over anything else, But whatever comes, as long as they keep me busy and I stay fighting, is what I want to do,
Yeah, and as you might have heard, turns out Gina Carano had an issue with her medicals. She didn't pass, so she's off the card. And your fight with KJ is going to be on the main card now. Are you a little more excited also just to, kind of have that main spotlight on you?
Oh, of course, man. I mean, hopefully put a couple extra dollars in my pockets for sponsors, it's like everybody got not everybody, but a lot of people got Showtime, so it's cool. 18net is an awesome channel. I love it, but not a lot of people got that channel,
Yeah, that's true. I have it, but you're right. It's not on every service provider yet. So, going back to the fight itself, everyone's probably expecting a stand-up war, but I'm sure your coaches have you ready for pretty much anything. Do you think people maybe? Do you think people maybe are overlooking the possibility of a ground game between you two guys? Because you guys both have good striking, but you also have been training for a long time, so it's not like both of you guys are, complete amateurs on the ground either.
Every striker that I find that they say is a good striker always goes for takedowns on me, and it's not because I'm such a devastating puncher. It's because of the movement, the way I frustrate people, and I get them out of rhythm and I make them miss a lot. So if KJ shoots on me after the first round, he starts just repeatedly shooting on me. It won't surprise me one bit. I wouldn't be surprised because every good striker that I find that they say is a striker and a solid and nothing but a striker, they always shoot for takedowns on me. So it won't be no surprise there.
Right. Now, as far as your, like you mentioned, your usual style and you're a really good counter puncher, given KJ's boxing skills and head movement, is there anything that you're doing differently to prepare for the striking game? Or, I know you don't want to give away your game plan, but are you doing anything special for this fight, or are you just kind of doing the same thing you always do in training?
The only thing different I've been doing, I've been having multiple attackers attack me, 3-4 people at a time attack me, so I can really get my head movement going on from all angles. KJ throws from weird angles, so I got people trying to punch me in the back of the head right now, and I'm just making a miss regardless,
Right, yeah, and also, I gotta admit, you're kind of a prophet, because we talked right after the Strikeforce UFC merger, and they said that, it's going to be business as usual, but you were saying, hey, if things go as planned, then you wouldn't be surprised to see some unification bouts. Now it turns out Nick Diaz is going to be fighting GSP, and I'm sure that'll be a huge event, so, just as a fighter, how stoked are you to finally see some unification bouts to kind of, really put some of these dream matchups together?
That I think is awesome, That's super cool, man. I mean, hopefully, what it really means is a bigger payday for us, That's what I'm really excited about, Because at the end of the day, I got 2 little girls, I got to feed them, so I'm hoping that also means bigger paydays, Nick and George, I hope they get their biggest paychecks ever due to this unification bout.
Right. And just a couple more questions, and I'll let you go. As far as, Gilbert Melendez, he's kind of the king of the Strikeforce lightweight title picture right now. He's got the belt. He looked awesome in his last fight with Kawajiri. I know you said you don't watch too much tape on guys, but, what do you think of Melendez, the way he's looked lately? Because he's looked pretty unstoppable, but as you know, the fight game, anything can happen. So, if you get your shot, I'm sure you'd love your chance to prove people wrong.
He definitely look. I do watch fights. I don't watch if you tell me fight this guy, I won't watch tape on on that particular guy. My coaches will do it, but I do watch fights and stuff, and I did get to see the Melendez-Kawajiri fight because I was interested to see who would win. And he looked good, man. He looked sharp. His striking looked good. He threw his super punches and landed him on the money every time. And not even close to getting taken down. And he just made Kawajiri look like he wasn't a top 10 guy at all, you know. And Kawajiri is a solid and a good guy, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I want to go out there June 18. I want to put on, you know, a good performance so everybody can know. And I'm coming from Melendez, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing about this fight, you're fighting KJ, like I said, a former title holder. He's, been in there with Nick Diaz, gone the distance. But also, you're fighting on the same card as the rest of the first round of the Heavyweight Grand Prix. It's one of the things that really brought Strikeforce a lot of attention. So, how much more of an honor, if any, does it feel like being on a part of this card with such a major event for Strikeforce as a promotion?
And that truly is an honor and a blessing in disguise, you know. Because just a couple weeks ago, I was on the undercard, and now I got bumped up to the main card, you know. So it's all for a reason. God's doing this for a reason. He wants me to put all my talents on display, all my skills, and go out there and just put a butt whooping on KJ from beginning to start, and just show the world what I could do, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thanks again as usual. I know we let you do it every time, but once again, go ahead. Any shout-outs you want to give?
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I'd like to thank our Extreme Couture Affliction, Lexani Rims, of course, my home gyms, American Top Team, and South Miami Sports Performance for all the love, all the support they gave me for this training camp, the best training camp I had in my life, and I'm ready to do this, and always thank God for everything that I gotten, you know.
All right, man. Well, like I said, I always appreciate talking to you, and good luck on June 18th. Looking forward to the fight.
Hey, thanks.